Are you falling into this trap where you think that everyone else is better than you? Listen, it's a myth. I'm going to show you why, and I'm going to tell you how to avoid it right now.
This is the Unlock Success Podcast. We're helping entrepreneurs around the world dive deep into the keys you need to shatter excuses, believe in yourself, and help you achieve your highest goals. Here's your host, 8-figure entrepreneur and the living legend of internet marketing, Anthony Morrison.
Hey everybody, Anthony Morrison here, and welcome to another episode of the Unlock Success Podcast. And today I want to talk to you about one of the most harmful perceptions you can adopt as an entrepreneur. The other day I was scrolling through my news feed on YouTube, and I noticed every video being recommended to me was telling me the same story. The story was about a struggling entrepreneur who started from nothing and who learned a few key strategies, put in some work, and boom, now they're a multimillionaire, right? Most likely with a half a dozen mansions, 43 cars that they barely use, and traveling the world every day of the year and all of these things. And whenever I clicked on one of these ads and videos, guess what I saw, right? I saw ads. Yes, ads telling the exact same story as the video that I was about to watch, right? The struggling entrepreneur who started from nothing but managed to turn it into an empire. Maybe you've seen this story over and over again in your news feed as well. And look, there's nothing wrong with that, okay? I think these stories are inspiring. In fact, I share my own story as often as I can, but here is the problem. Because we have access to the internet and sites like YouTube and Facebook and Instagram and TikTok and all this stuff, we now have access to the world's most remarkable stories from entrepreneurs. Stories of unbelievable wealth. Stories where people start at the bottom of the bottom and rise above everyone else. And it's tempting to see all of these stories and think, man, there's entrepreneurs that are truly remarkable. And because I'll never be like them, because I'll never accomplish what they've accomplished, I'll never be remarkable myself. And that is so dangerous. It's just such a dangerous mentality. And here's why. You know, it's dangerous to think that if your success doesn't include mansions or a Forbes article being written about you, then your success isn't all that remarkable. You know, don't think like that, right? You see, when it comes to comparing yourself to other entrepreneurs, there's two huge problems with social media. The first is that you're only seeing the extremes. You're only seeing the best of the best, the 1% of the 1%. And you're not seeing the thousands upon thousands who are happily enjoying a full-time living, but don't get interviewed by the greatest podcast or don't buy flashy jets or Ferraris or whatever the case may be, right? And the second problem is it's actually very easy to lose sight of what it actually looks like to be a good, successful entrepreneur. So let me say that again. When you only spend your time watching these videos and comparing them to your story, it's very easy to lose sight of what it looks like to be a good, successful entrepreneur. So what? You saw someone on YouTube that bought a mansion in Bali. That's great. But does that make him a good boss to his employees? Does it make him someone who's building a long-term business for his family? It just makes them someone wealthy enough to buy a mansion in Bali, right? Look, it's possible to have a successful business, have a driveway full of Teslas and Ferraris and Lamborghinis, but then not be a good father or a good husband or a good friend or to the people that you love, right? In fact, some of the most successful entrepreneurs I know, I won't name names or I'll get in trouble here, struggle with being able to spend more time with their family. Heck, I'm one of those people, right? So don't buy into the myth. Don't buy into the myth that everyone else is better than you because of what you see online. Because because here's the deal. The internet only shows you a select few of those entrepreneurs, usually the ones, like I said, that have made it to the very top. That's why they get all the attention. And those stories, they don't often reflect what it truly looks like to be an entrepreneur or a good business owner or ultimately even just a good person, right? So let me leave you with a super practical challenge that you can do right now. I know this video is just a few minutes long, and in this podcast, no matter where you're at when you're listening to it, you're probably already kind of looking ahead at what you're going to see next and what you're going to watch next and all that stuff, but just stop, right? Stop and give yourself the next 2 minutes to think about this. I want you to specifically think about what will actually make you happy, what success will actually look like for you. And when you find yourself in a place where you're comparing yourself to someone else, buying into the myth that everyone else out there is better than you because that's how the algorithm makes it seem, Think about what you've decided on in these few minutes. Think about what is truly, truly, truly representative of success for you. What will truly make you happy? What will truly turn you into the kind of person that other people want to be around? And my guess is you're closer to that goal than you might really think, right? I've struggled with this my whole life because I was successful at such a young age, 23, 22 years old, give or take. And I was in a field with people that were 20 years older than me. At 23 years old, I was always around 40-year-olds and 45-year-olds, and all these people were so much more successful than I was. And I'll remember I always thought to myself, like, man, I'm not there. I'm not doing what he's doing, or I'm not doing what she's doing, or I'm not as successful as this person or that person. And my parents used to always remind me, they used to say, Anthony, son, you're 23. They've got 20 years on you. Give yourself 20 years, look back and see where you're at, and see where you were at. And I always thought, I always had a hard time with that. I always struggled with it because comparing yourself to other people makes it very difficult to be happy with where you're at, because no matter what, we can always find somebody who's more successful than us. We can always find somebody who has more accolades than us. We can always find somebody who makes more money than us. And if it's not today, trust me, there's somebody in the rearview mirror coming up and they're going to pass you, right? That's just part of life. What you need to focus on is you, right? What makes you happy? What drives you? What makes you feel successful? And when you feel successful, when you can look in the mirror and say, man, I've done it all. Like, I've done everything that I want to do. I've accomplished everything I want to accomplish. I've met all of my goals. That's the ultimate level of success for you. And it doesn't matter where somebody else is at, right? If they're way up here and you're way down here, it doesn't matter, because you've reached the pinnacle of your happiness, right? And your success happiness. And I truly think this is something that people need to hear, because social media, it changes so much for us. If I had access to all of this social media when I was 23 years old, when I started, I don't know what I would be doing. I would be going crazy, because at the end of the day, I was already comparing myself to the few people that I did know. But imagine if I was comparing myself to the tons and tons and tons and tons and tons of people that I would see on social media. I would have gone insane, right? And I know that's what people are struggling with right now, is they're constantly having to compare themselves to other people that they see on social media. So please remind yourself each and every day, just be great for yourself. Just reach your goals. Shoot for your goals, right? And don't compare yourself to the people that you see on social media. It's not going to benefit you, doesn't benefit them, and ultimately it's irrelevant, because what we're really after is we're after our own internal happiness. We're after whatever can make us the happiest we can be, and only you really know what that takes, what those goals are, what that path is, right? And if you stay on that path, you reach those goals, you'll reach your ultimate level of happiness, and you let other people be them. You just be you. Listen, I've enjoyed sharing this message with you. I always look for messages that I feel like can be inspiring, but also extremely helpful, right, to all types of people who are tuning in, listening to our podcast, watching it online. And I hope that you found this message impactful, and it'll help you kind of maybe change the way that you look at social media, change the way that you view yourself if you've happened to fall into this trap. And I look forward to helping you, sharing more information, and teaching you as much as I possibly can on the next episode of our Unlock Success podcast.